Okay, can you hear me now? And can you see my screen? Can
Yes, your
anyone confirm
screen is
that?
visible and you are audible as well.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello everyone. It's really good.
Your voice is now cracking a bit and
My
not
voice is
audible.
cracking.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of noise.
Okay, just give me a minute. Let me fix it.
Yeah, now it's better. Now it's better.
Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me now? Again, can you hear me? Hello? You muted. Hello, can you hear me now? I'm trying to check it. Oh, it's good now. Okay, I'm going to be sharing my screen straight away so we don't have to waste any more time. I'm so sorry. The network and internet connectivity today is bad. So I'm trying as much as possible to find a quick fix to everything. Just let me know if you can't hear anything I'm saying. Let me see if I can. Oh, it's getting recorded, so it's all good. Okay, it's loading up. Okay, it's up now. Can you see my screen? Okay, can see it. Okay, we'll get started now then. So let me share my camera so you can also see who I am. Hello everyone. My name is Ahmed and I am a Gold Microsoft Incident Ambassador. I think this was and I'm going to be introducing to Azure Virtual Machines today. Just if you can't see anything I'm saying. So before we start, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. And then right here, right now, you can unmute yourself and ask your questions. And yeah, so I would like to confirm if you can hear me and can see my screen once again, so that I'm sure that I'm carrying everyone along as well. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. So cloud computing. Uh, before can go into Azure Virtual Machines, and so pick a physical laptop to the online infrastructure, which is something I'm working with as well. So you can see that it shows that you are migrating your services or your data or your action from on-premise to we have AWS, we have Ocean. These are prominent ones, and those are the market leaders. And as part of the Microsoft student communities to introduce some of the, if you're a product manager or a project manager, you would want to know how to use Azure. Even though you're just into enjoy using Azure Container Services, which there are quite a lot of services that you can use right there. Also, we have compute, which is one of the things we're going to be talking about today. So this compute deals with infrastructure as a service. So it deals about virtual machines and so many other stuff as well. It's partnering up with OpenAI to, go to the adoption of generative AI across all over. Wherever you are, you can all acknowledge that we've all used ChatGPT, and also even with the announcement of BARD as well. So primarily for Azure, there's so many AI services and machine learning services that you would want to work with, but we are not going to be touching that. So there was also hybrid and multi-cloud. So there's private cloud, there's public cloud. And there is hybrid. So Azure naturally is a pop. Okay, I'm back. I think my network went off there. Please confirm if you can hear me. Hello? Can you hear me? And can you see me? I will appreciate it. Yes or no. Again, can you hear me? Anyone? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Please, I'm trying to confirm if you can hear me. Oh, yes, amazing. So, so sorry for the internet connectivity is bad today. So we also have Internet of Things. If you're into Internet of Things, so so I would just like to introduce you all to the different layers we have. This is just like a diagram which shows all of Azure services from platform as a service to infrastructure as a service, and the last one is software as a service. So the reason why you can see software as a service here is something that you use to deploy. So we have the data centers in a cloud platform. Everything that powers all what you see, your apps, the computers that are being hosted, it's called a data center. And each one of the data centers have like machines, like plethora of machines, like various machines of different types and different storage that they host there. And So Azure has that. Infrastructure machines, is networking, those are infrastructure services. Then we have platform services. Some of the speakers in this bootcamp which is Azure Web as Azure, and so many of that ones as well. So you'll be working with there's platform as a service on Azure as well. You have like a lot of them, and you have AKS, IoT. So we also have hybrid, you have security, and software as a service includes Microsoft Office 365. That's the software as a service. Anything that the end user doesn't have to code, or they don't have to, they just have to do minimal settings. That's the software as a service. But if you're going to platform as a service, if you're a developer, you're an engineer, or you're a AI enthusiast, or you're even a someone that you work with deploying applications, which is a website engineer, and the rest of them. Me down to my next phase in this. My question is, what is cloud computing? And I want a genuine answer from the audience. You can go from anything you know, no wrong or right answer. Just anyone. You can choose from one of these options and put it on the chat box, or you can mute yourself. Hello. Oh, okay. Let me see if I can switch on my camera. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, let me switch. Hello, can you hear me now? Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay, my voice is good now. So you, someone mentioned it's the delivery of computing. I'm trying to go share so that I don't have to delay all of you. So delivery of computing services over the internet. Anyone? Any other person? Would like to take one more person so that we can move on. Any other answer? Okay, so I think I would go with what Asif said, Ahmad said, which is, yes, it is the delivery of computing services over the internet, and that's the correct answer. It's not the storage or delivery storage devices over the internet, or delivery of website accessible over the internet. It is the delivery of computing services. Computing services are the range, which is platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, or software as a service. So it guides me to the topic of today, which is overview of Azure Virtual Machines. So Azure Virtual Machines is a cloud infrastructure, cloud-based infrastructure as a service, often from Microsoft Azure, that allows you to create and run virtual machines in the cloud. With VM, I used to call it Azure VMs, which is the short form. With Azure VMs, you can deploy a range of things, like there's a Windows Azure VM. So just see it as a now, like, take different operating system and install it on it. You can install a Windows operating system on it. You can install Linux. You can install, I think those are the two. iOS. I think there's iOS one now. There's iOS OS, Mac OS, sorry, on Mac OS on the marketplace right now that you can, and also other open source operating system as well. And you can install it. That there are some ones that have graphics card. There are some ones that it depends on the configuration, which is what I'll be showing you today as well. So I'm going to move on to the next slide, which is enabling infrastructure as a service practice. So there are different stages. I'm going to start starting from the top. So you have to plan and design. So you have to know what you want to deploy, like what you want to, your infrastructure as a service, which is your VM. You want to know what it looks like. Then you provision it, then you manage and monitor it, then you scale it. There's auto scaling, there's ways that there are different ways you can scale a virtual machine in Azure. There's auto scaling, there's scaling and scale out. There are different types, and I'm not going to touch everything, but I'm going to be dropping a learning material, which is the Microsoft Learn, where you can learn all of this scaling mechanism that you can use on Azure VM. So you can also integrate with other Azure services. You can integrate with the key vaults, you can integrate with Azure DevOps, you can integrate with AI and machine learning, you can integrate with almost everything. One of the good things about Azure is that once you work with one of their services, you can connect it with other stuff as well. You can connect your VM to a subnet. So you like a subnet is more of like a you can connect it to a virtual network, and you have it in a particular subnet, or you can move it from one subnet to another subnet. There are different things you can do with Azure Virtual Machines, and also so there's this is simple Azure Virtual Machine architecture. So it talks about your application. Let's take an application now that's been deployed on an Azure Virtual Machine. There's the DNS, which is where you access your app, the internet. There's a public IP. Every virtual machine on Azure has a public IP. You can activate a public IP. So at the underlying basic is a resource group, then a public IP address, and which connects a VM. It stores all the data. There's a managed disk. A managed disk is more of like your hard disk or solid state drive, which is your SSD. So you can also have that on Azure. So there's physical and SSD or on host. Then there's a diagnostic log where you can check everything that's happened on that virtual machine. And this is just a simple architecture. There are way more sophisticated architecture than this, but this is something I felt like I should introduce. Because which cloud premise is the most suitable for a lift and shift migration from an on-premise data center to cloud deployment? Is it infrastructure as a code? Is it platform as a, is it infrastructure as a service? Is it platform as a service? Is it software as a service? I would like to get an answer from anyone. Anyone? You can just type your answer. You can unmute yourself. Hello, can you hear me? I can't hear anyone. I'm not sure you can hear me. Can you hear me, everyone? Hang on, again, can you hear me? Yeah. So, anyone? Does anyone care to share the answer to this question? There's no right or wrong answer. I mean, it's very good for this place to be interactive. IaaS, yes, it is IaaS. Thank you so much, Ahmad. It is IaaS because in a lift and shift migration, lift and shift means you're moving everything from your on-premise to the cloud. So for you to move everything, mostly it's something lift and shift mostly resonates with infrastructure as a service. You are deploying to an online database. You're deploying to
a virtual machine, which is a VM. You're moving all your infrastructure from your on-premise servers to the online servers that is being managed by Azure. Yeah, it is IaaS. Thank you so much, Ahmad. So my features, so which is something I've crafted out some key things you need to know. So in Azure Virtual Machines features, there's a part where you have to configure and manage the virtual machine. So you need to configure the VM setting, configure a manage, you need to manage the storage and disks, and you need to secure your VM with Azure Security Center, which is something that it's by the time you are provisioning your virtual machine, it's a demo I'm going to show. I know we are almost out of time, but I'm going to go through it as well. So that's it for configuring and managing virtual machine. It's something that whenever you want to spin up a virtual machine server on Azure, you would have to set up all of these things. So also for monitoring and optimizing monitor, can also optimize it with VM performance. So there's sometimes our laptop has reached its limits. So a advisor is going to show you, oh, you know what? It's as if you've reached up to the space. Let me just say the RAM has been exhausted. With the application you're running, you can also troubleshoot common issues with on Azure as well with an advisor or a monitor as well. You can do that. So you can also deploy and scale application on Azure virtual machine as well. When I mentioned you can auto scale, you can use Azure auto scale to deploy as many VMs as possible. You can also load balance. If you are familiar with a load balancer, it's more of like if there's a particular port you need to direct something to. Let's say you are deploying an application on Azure VM, you want it to, every time a VM is filled up, you want it to auto direct to another very available. You can develop deploy it in different availability zones. Mind you don't need to know all of these terms. You can check out Microsoft Learn, which I'm dropping the link for you to learn more about any of this as well. You can also integrate virtual machines with other Azure services. I mentioned this earlier. You can connect your VMs to virtual network, which is very much important. If you want to deploy an Azure virtual machine, you have to connect it to a virtual network. And also, you can back up your data. Once a VM is being shut down and something goes wrong, you can back up your Azure VM, all the data. You can also integrate with Azure Virtual Desktop. Sometimes if you're working in a big company, they sometimes deploy this virtual desktop. More of like you have to connect to the internet then to work with an operating system. It uses your keyboard. It doesn't rely on the underlying infrastructure you have. It doesn't create. You don't need to use your physical hardware. You've heard of GitHub code spaces. Yeah, I'm back now. So you're not using your underlying infrastructure, which is probably your laptop or your SSD to run all of this. So have you ever tried working with Azure Virtual Machine? That's the question I'm throwing to everyone. Have you ever used an Azure Virtual Machine before? And yeah, I feel free to share your opinion about that as well. Anyone? Okay. Oh, not yet. Thank you so much, Ahmad. And that's amazing. Anyone else? I have 14 people here. I think it's to be glad for everyone to share their opinion. If you've worked with anyone.
Anyone? Ariane, have you worked with Azure Virtual Machines before? Ariane, I can't hear you. Have you worked with it before? Or Parisa, have you worked with Azure Virtual Machines before? Okay. So I'm going to go with Hamad on what he said. I guess everyone is pretty much new to Azure Virtual Machines. So let's go on a field script. So I would be demoing how to deploy a virtual machine, and I would be fast about it. I think we have 30 minutes to finish up this session. So so I'm going to. So if you don't, firstly, you have to go to Azure. I think it's only my screen you can see. So let me stop sharing the slide and share my entire screen. Okay, can you see my screen? Please confirm if you can see my screen. Anyone? Can you see my screen? Oh, yes. Nice. Thanks, Ahmad. You have to, if you're a student, the Azure offers $100 of free credits per year. So you can go ahead, you can sign up. So if you're an ambassador, you just have to activate your Visual Studio Code and you get $150 of Azure credits every month. So you can say if you are none of this, you can also get a 30 days to use 200 credits in Azure as well. So it's amazing, isn't it? So I'm going to be right now. So I'm going to be. Okay, I'm back. So I'm trying to log into Azure. It's loading. Just give me a minute. Okay, I'm in now. So I still have 32 in Azure credits. So this is the dashboard you would see. So this is a dark theme. Let me see if I can change to a white theme, so it will be much more better. Just a minute. Appearance. Okay. Let me apply this. Okay. I think this is better now, so everyone can see it. Okay. So we are going to. This is the dashboard. So we are going to create a resource group first. So a resource group is more of like a container in which you put in your any of the services you are working with. For you to deploy any service at all, you need to create a resource group. So I'm going to be creating that. So I'm going to, so basically you need to select the subscription. If, like I mentioned, if you're a student, you can sign up for $100. You're going to get $100 in Azure credits per year, which is if you have a student meal. So if you're a ambassador, you would have the Visual Studio Enterprise subscription, and also if you are a professional, you have $200 for 30 days to use. So I would have to put the name of it. So I'll call it DTU Resource Group. So you have to select the location or region in which you want to deploy this. So I'm going to be using US East, which is the most prominent one. So I'm going to be going to tags. You don't need to put tags; it's not compulsory. And then you create the resource. Okay, so we've created the resource group. You can see it right here, DTU resource group. So I'm going to be going into it. You can see it's empty. So there are different things you can, more of like do. You can create, you can manage the view, you can delete the resource group, you can refresh, you can even open on your mobile phone as well. There's so many other stuff, cost analysis. You can check out this cost for that. I mean, everything you've deployed, yeah, you can check out the costing and everything like that to check it per month on every Azure service you work with. So we're going to create now. We're going to go to the marketplace. So let's say I want to create the Azure VM. So I'm going to be searching for that. No, I want to show just VM. Let me go back because I just don't want to create a. I want to show you from the lining. It's much more better that way. Okay, this is it. So you go there, you search for a virtual machine. So you see there are no virtual machines that you have. So you create one, create virtual machines. So let's create one. So it's creating one now. So yeah, so we need to set up just a few things. We need to select the subscription. We need to select the resource group. So you can see DTU resource group. I would select that. The name of our virtual machine would name it DTU VM1. So you need to select the region. I mentioned something on availability options. You need to, if you want your VM to be very much available, there are different things you can preset. You can select you can deploy this resource in a different region in Azure. So a region is more of like you can deploy this particular VM in Asia. You can do so many things, like also your availability set. You can also you can automatically distribute your VM across different multiple fault domains. You can read this up. Like you don't have to be pressurized to know everything. You can just read up on their documentation to understand all of this. The security type, you can put it on a basic level, trusted launch on your virtual machine, confidential. But that will require you to set up some stuff. So we're just going to go with the standard. So this is one of the most important part. You can set up different images. Images are more of like the OS itself. So that's the operating system. So I have a plethora of images I could use here. I could use Windows Server, Windows 10, Ubuntu, and the rest of them. So let's say I want to deploy an Ubuntu server. So I click on it. You see, so you can see right here, this is it. So I would select this one and I'll select Ubuntu Gen 2 or something like that. So I can just select that Ubuntu Gen 2. So I'm going to be deploying a Ubuntu VM, right? So that's x64. I don't need to run with the Spox discount. And also we can select the RAM, the kind of RAM. I mentioned you can. This is scalable. So I'll be deploying a 8 gig and 32 gig CPUs. You can see the costing. It's quite expensive, $280 per month. Ooh, that's expensive. We have the one of $53 per month. You have $70 per month. So I'll be going with the 280 on just for the demo. So how do you connect? SSH public key or a password. So I'm going to be going with the password because I want to show you a demo on how to use RDP as well. So I'll say Babatunde and select my password. So let me just remember my password. So I've set up the password. Just make sure it's so allow public, yes, HTTP, select all of these options for you to be able to be pinged inbound ports. So there are different things. There's public inbound ports, and you then have to, this is to allow it to be accessible. So there are sometimes you don't want a VM to be totally accessible. You can select that. This will allow all IP address to access your virtual machine, yes.
For now, for this demo, I would allow that. But from some others deployment you want to do, or for some application you want to use it for, it's not ideal to make it accessible. So your disks, your OS disks, I'm going to be using an SSD. You can use the standard or premium. So let me use standard just to save cost. Then you can delete it with the VM, or you might choose not delete with the VM. The key management is platform managed. You can leave all this as default. The networking, let's go to networking. You can leave all this. So it's going to create a default networking, a virtual network for you, a subnet for you, a public IP address, a NIC for you, the public inbound and everything like that. Load balancing, we don't want to load balance this. I mentioned that we can automatically, once this VM is filled up, we can, once another VM is filled up, we can automatically make this VM for applications we deployed on it to be accessible. So I'm going to be going to management right now. So we can leave all this as default. It's not important. You can choose to work with it. This is for monitoring. Enable recommend. Yes, I want to enable monitoring for this. Let me see if I can configure this. So this is just an alert to talk about if the CPU is greater. No, I'm not going to be doing that, but you can do it as well. So let's say, for example, if your CPU is like 50%, that's the CPU, the RAM, it's going to send an email to you saying that the CPU is at 50%, that you might want to like scale down some of the things you are using on it, or you might want to scale up the RAM itself. So you can see the extension, you can deploy custom data and all of that. So let's say as you're spinning up this virtual machine, you want to like also automatically install some packages on it. You can do that. You can pass in a custom data or user script or a user data to do that. So that I'm going to automatically check if it has passed the validation. And let's see. So it's giving us our billing per hour. So we'll just be charged 0.38 per hour. So you can set up the email. My email is default. You can set up the preferred phone number and all that. It's going to show you a preview of all your settings. Then I will then create it. So it's just going to take some time to create the virtual machine. Okay, on the serial. So it's taking some time to create the virtual machine. The deployment in process. You can see it's creating the virtual network first, then the IP, the NIC, the security groups. It's creating the virtual machine right now. Let's just wait for 1 more minute. This has been created. So let's go to the resource. You can see your resource, your deployment has been created, the virtual machine has been created. So let's go to our resource. You can see DTU VM1. This is all of the settings. I mentioned in my slides, you can do so many things. You can configure the the monitoring. There's so many things you can do. You can configure the automation of scripts. This is an Ubuntu VM. You can also do settings, do so many other stuff based on. You can do this. You can configure backup. You can see, I mentioned that you can configure a backup as well. I can just create this enable backup to save all my data, and it's going to be you can configure to shut down. You want it to be shut down at a specific time of the day. So I want to show you that you can also connect to a virtual machine to RDP. So let's download the RDP file. and you can see the public address. If you're on a Linux, this is a Linux VM, so you might need to install something called a RDP server on your laptop. So it's called, this one I'm using is called Gemini. So immediately I click on this, it's going to open Gemini. Just a minute. It's opening it up. So you can see, no. It's connecting to the server. Just a minute. Just a minute. Let me open up my downloads. Let me see. Probably my network is that bad. Let me see. Let me try to connect to SSH. Just a minute. I don't want to use this, so let me see if I can create the Windows. It's asking me to install something else. So let me see if I can create the Windows zone. Say Windows VM. I'll be quick about it. I know we have 4 minutes gone. Let me use the current one. DTU resource group. Yes, it's DTU VM2 Windows Server. Windows 11 Go X10.2 X64 SSD. What's in there? Let's see. 6708 that. RDP. Let's see. Let's open up the HTTP. Let's open up those two. The disks. Let's put it to standard. Next. 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 It's asking me to create something. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Start. Oh, it's asking me to create my password. Yes. Here. Let's give you and create. It should work now. Just 2 more minutes and we test the server, which is the virtual machine. Mind you, you can connect to an RDP, but I want to show you the way it works in RDP, so you can see that it's more of like a laptop. You can connect through your bash. If you're using the Linux VM, you can have like a command line the way you have it on Linux, something like this. You can also work with something like that. If I want to connect it to bash, you just have to ensure that whenever you are deploying, you download the public key and you can connect with that. But I'm going to be using the Windows VM for this use case. I'm going to be providing resources for you to read up on how to use bash to connect to a Linux VM. It's not going to take long. waiting. Just wait 1 more minute. Oh, I see deploying. Let's refresh. No, it's taking long. Let me see. It's provisioning. Let's wait 1 more minute and it should be fully deployed so we can connect. Now it's taking this long to provision it. Just wait. Okay, it's created now. So let's quickly rush to our VM. Machine agent. I don't think that's an issue. Let's connect. So let's download the RDP file. Yes. So I'm going to provide my name, username. I'm not sure you guys can see my screen. Let me stop sharing and share my entire screen. It is good. Okay, okay. Yes. So we want to connect to the RDP server right now. So I downloaded the RDP file from Azure, and this is a DTU VM2. So once I want to do that, you can see it's asking for my username, and you can also connect with the password. If you're on Linux, I'm using a Linux RDP software called Yamina. If you're on Windows, I think there's something called Windows RDP that you can use. I can use that and connect to Windows, or even Linux VMs as well. So 6708 I can use that one to connect. So I say okay. So it's connecting to my Windows. You can see it's coming on. Fantastic. I'm excited already. So it's coming up. It's loading like a VM, like a Windows, like the Windows in your laptop. See how amazing it is. You can see it's coming up. It's coming up. It's loading. Depending on how many RAM of you configured for the VM, this can be faster. I can deploy a 16 gig RAM, a 32 gig RAM, but it's going to be much more costly than a typical 4 gig or 8 gig RAM. So it's loading, it's logging in. So let's just give it 1 more minute for it to fully setup. I'll just remove any of this. Okay, we're in. You can see we are in Windows 11. So I'm going to click next. Yes, it's asking me to do something. That's right. Okay. Accept. So yes, you're on Windows right now. So this is Windows. Can open up the recycle. This is quite small. This is because of the underlying VM I'm using. Let me see if I can magnify it enough for it to be good. I know we have under session right now, but this is a Windows 11 VM, so it's more of like Windows 11. You can see it. You can scroll up. For example, I can scroll up. You can even type. It uses your keyboard. Hello. You can see. You can open up. You can install a software on it, but be conscious that it also has like a physical SSD or HDD if you configure that, and you can check your downloads, you can check your documents, you can check OneDrive. You can even log into your student ambassador mail or your personal mail. It also has a Bing chart. In fact, this is the latest one that has like the Bing. So sync start with the data. Let's use Bing on it. Continue without this data. You can always go into your data. Yes, allow this, confirm that I can scroll down. I'm just setting this up, confirm and start browsing. So you can see what is, I can use Bing chart, what is today's date. And it works like your laptop. It is your laptop actually. You can see today's date, it shows you so many other options. It might be a lag, but at most it works so well if you have a good internet connection. So I can work with Bing Copilot, NoteX. It's requiring me to set up my account, so I think I have set up my account, and I don't want to go through those tests. But this works like your laptop. You can see you can dock this, sign it with your widgets. There's so many things you could do with this. You can even set up a VS Code, work with the VM to set up your deployment of code. This is not going to use this at most. This only use your internet. It's not going to use your RAM at a very increasing rate. It's not going to use your laptop. You just need to have a good internet to make it work faster. That's the only thing you need to do. And if you're setting up your configurations, it's always good to go for like high-end configuration if you have the money. But if you don't, you can just start one and delete it at any time. So you can see it works like Windows man. So I'm going to be stopping this now. So so let's go back to our slides. Let me stop sharing and share just the slides. PowerPoint. Okay, it's coming up. Okay, yes, I'm going to resume back to where I was. Okay, we are back from the field trip, and we've learned how to deploy the Azure VM, and also you could delete the resource group if you want to delete the underlying Azure VM as well. So we go on to the learning resources, which is Microsoft Learn. Any of the things I showed you, I learned this from Microsoft Learn. How to deploy a server, even my current hardware, I learned about Azure. It's all on Microsoft Learn, and I'll be dropping the link as part of the post event follow up. I'll drop the links to Arian, also the link to the slides. Everything is going to be dropped to the to Arian so that you can share with everyone. So yeah, thank you so much, and I'll take any question or answer you might have right now. But this is the end of my demo, and I really appreciate you sticking through this. I would say not so exciting at the beginning, but we're able to go through it together. So is there any question anyone have? And I will be excited to answer them and also clarify your doubts as well. Any question? Yeah, so I'll stop sharing now. Oh, thank you so much, Ahmad. Again, over to you now. Thank you so much for hosting me today, and it's quite late over at your side. Oh, Astush, you have a question? Please go ahead.
I think he wants to speak up, so I'll just give you the mic access. Yeah, because now you can open up your mic.
Astush, you can mute yourself. You're muted, Astush. You can unmute yourself. Oh, you're saying thank you. You're muted. You're muted. Can you unmute yourself to ask your question? Okay, then I think probably Astush was trying to say thank you. Thank you so much. Again, over to you now, so we can move on to the next event as well. Then Dinesh, you can go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So I'm a new beginner for the Azure DevOps. So I want to learn the DevOps. So from where can I start from?
Okay, so if you want to learn Azure DevOps, there's a Microsoft Learn part that you can use, but also I follow this YouTube series that I used to get started on learning how to use Azure pipelines for CI/CD and also the project management on Azure DevOps. But I'll drop links with Arian to share. So the best and anything you want to learn on Azure, I would prefer you use Microsoft Learn. So there's a Azure DevOps learning part that's on Microsoft Learn that I would recommend you to use. So it's going to give you like you'll be actively involved in deploying the CI/CD pipeline or even using the Azure repo for hosting your project as well. Did I answer your question, Dinesh?
Microsoft Learn, right? So could you paste the URL link so I can for the reference?
Okay. Okay, let me drop the link right now.
That would be great, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm a student. I'm starting learning the DevOps. We're also learning from the Kubernetes, starting working on the Kubernetes.
Yeah, you're on the right part. I started learning last year to work on Kubernetes, and also there's also a service for Kubernetes you could use, which is called AKS. You can use AKS, which is very fantastic. So you can learn all about that here. You can also check out their documentation on Azure if you're someone that you are curious about reading up on their documentation. Let me drop it.
Can you please share the YouTube links or some links so where you can get a reference? I can work on that. Or you training?
I'm copying all of that right now.
Great. Thank you so much. So
do we have so
from you?
What did you say?
Do we have another sessions from you?
No, me. No, Arian is going to be taking over. I think you have some other sessions with I think another guest.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
If it's possible, you can just paste the URL in the chat. So I will take the reference. I can
Yes. Also, you can also connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll be dropping my LinkedIn profile. If you have any question or anything, I'll be glad to connect with you. Let me drop that right now.
Yes, if you have a LinkedIn, so you can share with me.
Yes, I'm sharing it. So if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, this is it. You can connect, and yeah, I'll be glad to, have a follow-up discussion on anything that is within what I know, or even I could connect you with people I know based on your career interests or anything you want to learn as well.
That will be great. And thank you so much for your wonderful session.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for saying to it as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye. Again, I think, does anyone have any other question? I think I've overstayed my time. Thank you so much, again, for today. I really appreciate you so much. And yeah, I appreciate everyone for also being here. And yeah, I'll pass it over to you to um, continue the event as well. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you, Ahmed, for the wonderful session. It was great to have you.
Thank you so much.
Can I get the URL link, please?
Yes, I'm dropping it, the YouTube one.
Not yet received.
I think you can see the link in the chat. He's posted the Microsoft Learn modules and also the LinkedIn link as well.
No, I can't see. I can see only the chart. I think I'm not getting any. Can you please share with me? I'm not getting anything.
Okay,
I'm just
see,
clicking
like
the
I'll
chat.
just show you. Wait 1 second, I will show you.
Are you sharing your screen, Aruna?
Yeah, 1 minute. Okay.
Because I don't have option to share my screen.
Yeah, you can see this. Okay. See, you must be able to see my screen now.
Yes, yes.
Right?
But
yeah. So when you click on this chat button, you will see all the URLs
yes,
and everything.
the same.
So you can.
I'm not getting. I'm not getting. I don't know why.
Okay, so don't no worries. I will share these links in the WhatsApp group.
Give me. So if I'm
Are you
typing,
part of the WhatsApp group, or should I send the link as well?
so I have I just pinned hi in the chat. It's not getting for you, right?
No, it is not. No worries. I'll just share with you the WhatsApp group. Okay, so like, how will I share that to you as well? Like when you registered, so you would have you would have received a link to register, right? In that there
Yes.
is a WhatsApp group, so you can join that, and I will post all these links and every detail in the group itself.
No, so I can see there is a global description group are there where I have
Yeah.
clicked and join.
Yeah. That's the group.
So only admin can send a message. I can see here.
Yeah. I will just share like in a few minutes these URLs that Hamid has sent. So I'll share them in the group itself.
That
So
will
you
be great.
can refer them.
So much
Yeah.
for your wonderful session. One more thing, so I'm a student for the DevOps. I just want to learn all the things. So I have gone to the Facebook where I see uh, this group working on the Azure DevOps, right? Dinesh, yeah,
Yeah.
Dinesh, if you can type my name, Dinesh. Yeah, guessed.
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
want to learn things for this. So right now I can see I learn about the remote desktop, but I want to learn more and more things. So how can I get this information? How can I get a session, a good session or something offline session? I can get it.
Okay. I'm not sure about offline session as such. Though I think you can go to their website and they will definitely post if there is any offline session.
Okay, so right now they are only have online session, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I can join it, right? No issue for that.
Yeah, you can join like any sessions. Basically, you have to just register and then you can just attend any of
Oh,
them.
I already registered my email ID, my name, already
Yeah.
done it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Just waiting for your pin in the chat box.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, team.